But that is also, the attention has an object. You're tracking your whatever comes up to you, whether it's a thought, whether it's a perception, or is an object. What you're describing is harder to do. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, it's true, because it's hard to put attention on something which is not an object. And also, initially, the mind is involved in this process of trying to be more aware. Initially, the mind is trying to do it, and the mind cannot quite do it. So it's like a little bit of like frustrating. However, the impulse and the whole interest in this, and the impulse to do it, even if we fail to do it, pays off in some way. I think I mentioned, so this self-remembering is different depending where we are at. In terms of our felt sense of understanding about that which is aware. So it can be as a practice, as an effort, even just, actually Ouspensky was saying that any of these efforts is effort connected to self-remembering and is good. The very catching yourself in daydreaming and realizing that there was no attention, that is some aspect of self-remembering. Yeah, so the presence becomes awake to the fact that it was asleep. You're back. Yeah. Also in this, the fourth way was called the system, like the system of the fourth way, like a philosophical system or a teaching. They were saying that, so in the system, we were encouraged to work with certain obstacles, because whenever those things are happening, we are unconscious. Like daydreaming is one of them, and this approval, being identified with other people, think about us, and trying to please people, and trying to avoid them judging us, and worrying about, so this stuff, lying to oneself or others, or this tendency to, when you're frustrated or irritated, or this to like this to kind of ooze out these emotions. Anyway, so all of these are tendencies that happen in sleep, and the teachings, they say, hey, try to catch them. So each time you catch yourself in seeking approval and then you drop it, there's some form of self-remembering. Yeah, so I engaged in this for a long time, and I did it, I can see it was more like as a mindfulness application, like aware of this and aware of that, because I needed to do some self-inquiry at some point, meaning self-inquiry to do this thing that we've done last time, or when I was studying with Francis and Rupert, somehow this hey, well, what is aware right now? The exercises I mentioned last time, to when you wake up in the morning or in the night, when you go to sleep, or when you wake up, to just sense the sense of presence. Anyway, as this presence gets more clarified, it's already there, but the presence gets more conscious of itself, so to say. So it's more clear. Then this self-remembering, it's easier, because it's like I'm here, I'm present, I'm present to this, I'm present. and obviously, present to stuff and what's inside, outside. Yeah. In this system, the idea is that, hey, that's the method, and you need to remember to do it often. But then, with this method of observing, investigating while being aware of being, yeah, with this method, now you are looking at some shit. Now you need to find your shit, like core pattern, core identities, and then to know what they are, like false identities, like deflated identities. Although some people have inflated identities, like, oh, I'm better, I'm special, I'm so much better, I'm worse. Anyway, so everybody has a certain so with this self-remembering, we are encouraged to explore our ego and to know it very well. So with this self-remembering, we become aware of our false self. Yeah, so in order for consciousness to become more clear about itself, it needs to become aware of what it is not. Yeah, so we can observe our false patterns of thinking and feeling and reactions and all of this that we have done. And by observing them, it gets more identified from them. It gets de-identified. So also in this observation, and at some point, we not just observe, but we observe and I catch this, oh, this is the same thing that says that. I'm like, fuck it, man, I drop it. So in the observation, some of them, they are being dropped. We drop certain things, mind tendencies or relational tendencies or whatever. We also through KI or through through KI or through some skillful processing. Yeah, it's like bring awareness to some tight patterns, then that's more releases. Yeah, so as these false identities diminish, patterns become known, the body mind, in the fourth way they call it the machine, because it's like a biocomputer that programs and awareness. The machine, the body mind, gets more like put together, and it optimizes its operation. In sleep, basically the machine, if we are asleep, it's going to work worse. It's like almost like a train. It's the metaphor was like that. Okay, and as we are trying to become more awake and investigate in certain lines, the machine starts to work better, actually, how it was meant to be. The body mind, Mihai. So because the consciousness affects us, it's like is a stimulus. Even neurophysics, how do you call that? Quantum mechanics, quantum physics. The presence of the observer changes the phenomena. The presence changes the phenomena ultimately, and optimizes it. Yeah, the metaphor was that this body mind actually is like an amazing corporation, factory. It's a factory of using raw material and transmuting into life and transmuting it into this operation. But because we are not awake, then the factory stops. It stops, and then it stops, and then a lot of the raw material is leaked, and then the production doesn't go to where it needs to go. That's not my idea. This is a fourth way. I'm having a short allegory. So it's almost like you have a jet plane that is now harnessed to like 10 horses and is being pulled on a highway. That's the state of affairs when we start. But this jet plane is meant to fly. but it can't fly now because it never flew and it's rusty. So part of the work is to, okay, clean it up and start to try the engine and start to kind of activate the jets and realize, oh man, what am I doing with these horses here? So then it's meant to fly. Yeah. So anyway, the idea was that yes, this self-remembering is the main practice, but then there are many other things that it's important to look at to clean up the situation. And then as we clean up the situation, the energy works better, and then self-remembering works better, and it's like a it's like a factory that was in disarray. And it's another metaphor in the fourth way. There's like a factory or a ship. Imagine a ship where the captain is asleep, the master is not there, and the steward is drunk, and the chef is not in the kitchen, and then there is the marketing person in the kitchen, and then there's the flamenco guy in the whatever, I don't know. So it's a mess basically. And so that's what they are talking in the normal state. It's a mess. There's nobody in charge, and all of these employees, they take turns to go to the captain and they stir the ship for a little bit. They say, all right, guys, we are going there. I want, we are going to do this. And then after like 17 minutes, another mate comes. All right, guys, I want this. And we go there. So that's the state of affairs. So for self-remembering and knowing the false personality and working with emotions in a certain way, it's a very detailed kind of, hey, be more awake and do this, do that, do that. Yeah. What happens is that the mates, they go to their place, and the cook is in the kitchen, and the flamenco guy is in the arts room, and whatever, the cafe. And then the steward sobers up, and then the catches the map, and then the ship doesn't go like this anymore, or like this around, starts to go like this, and then the master comes. The master wakes up, and then the real captain, a good captain, is there. People are like, all right, yeah, yes, aye, captain. Anyway, I hope that I answered your question a little bit.
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you.